from the time they're in the tummies to when they're born. In the first year of life, they're tripling their birth weight. Hey parents, I'm Sanchita Daswani, a child nutritionist that's passionate about nourishing young tummies. I'm here in Mappa Bear to discuss all things about nutrition for kids, balanced meals, picky eating, and everything in between. I have twins who are now going to be 6 years old, and I remember when it came to starting solids for them, I was so overwhelmed. There was so much information out there. It was really difficult for me to navigate which way to follow, how to feed them, what to feed them, and because of that confusion, I ended up making a lot of mistakes. And my kids would eat okay, and they were managing with meal times. It was only when they turned 1.5 and they just stopped eating everything. They started throwing the food off the high chair. They were screaming in it. That is the point when I really started to look back and understand, why are they feeling this way? What did I do wrong? What were the mistakes I made? And when I started looking a bit more into child nutrition and what our kids need, I was shocked that how I didn't know this information before, and I really wanted to make sure that other parents did not feel the way I did, because the nutrition needs for kids is so different than for adults. I really wanted to be that guide for parents so that they felt empowered at mealtimes instead of feeling stressed. So I got certified to be a nutritionist just for kids so that I can guide parents on daily mealtimes so that they can actually enjoy mealtimes with their kids, but at the same time know that they're giving their child nourishing foods in the right environment. The reason that nutrition for kids from the first 1,000 days, which is from the time of conception up to 2 years of age, is so important is for two reasons. The first reason is that during this time, during these 1,000 days, kids are growing rapidly. From the time they're in the tummies to when they're born, in the first year of life, they're tripling their birth weight. Their organs are developing, their cells are growing and multiplying, their brain is growing as well. Because the majority of growth happens during this time, it is so important that our kids are offered the right nutrition to facilitate this growth. And the second reason that these 1,000 days is so important is because so many studies have come out now that have linked the nutrition given to kids during these 1,000 days to long-term diseases. And a lot of these long-term diseases like diabetes and autoimmune conditions are actually linked back to what kids were eating or what they were given during the first 1,000 days. So I know a lot of people say that it's okay, what does it matter? They'll grow up, they'll figure out the right foods. But with all of this evidence out there, nourishing our kids in the first 1,000 days the right way is going to make all the difference to their health in the long run. The key difference between the nutrition for kids who are from 0 to 1 year of age to post that is mainly milk. So in the first year of life, milk is actually the primary source of nutrition. That's what's going to help them triple their birth weight, their organs, cells, the brain to grow. That's what they need, a quick source of nutrient-dense calories, and that's what they're going to get from breast milk or formula. So even when you start solids at 6 months, we are not shifting the calories to food yet because it's such a new experience for kids. So milk is still the primary source. It's more introducing food so they learn the skills of eating, and then by 9-10 months is when the milk really drops and food takes over. And by the time your child reaches 1, they should be on 3 proper meals, and milk is there in the background to support. So post 1 year of age, it really is about getting the nutrition from food. So we like to offer our kids 3 meals, 1 to 2 snacks, and maximum 450 ml of milk if your child would like the same. So as parents, one thing we really struggle with is whether we should trust our kids when they say they are done eating. So if you have a child who's under the year of under the age of 1, you will see that when it comes to meal times, when they're done, they are very clear. They start turning their head away, they start pushing back, they start crying, they will not look at the food, they will throw it away. Very clear signs. And this is also the time when they don't really understand that food can fulfill hunger yet. So it's really about just sticking to a schedule and routine and offering them foods at the right time, so that if they are a bit hungry, they will eat a bit, but give them that time to understand their hunger cues. This is when they're learning about it when it comes to food. Now, post 1 year of age, our kids go through that toddler phase. So a lot of times, they're so busy learning new milestones like running, walking, talking, that sometimes meal times get affected with this. So if you really want to know if your child is genuinely full or still hungry, here's what you need to do. So if you offer your child a meal, make sure there's always a safe food, a food they're okay with. So if they're hungry, at least they'll eat that. Now, if they only eat that and they're done, okay. Now, if within an hour of that meal, they ask you for food, for milk or snacks, or they're going in the kitchen, then you actually know that they were genuinely not full. And you would need to look at reassessing the mealtime environment, what is being offered, and getting down to why they were refusing the foods in the first place. So if your child is only wanting to eat one food, like they only want to eat banana, they only want to eat white rice, I know this is a very tough situation. But what we need to understand as parents is that kids go through these phases. They go through these phases where they only want carbs, or they only want fruits, or they only want veggies. And this is normal and it's okay. Number one, make sure that it doesn't last longer than 2 weeks. If it's longer than 2 weeks, then we need to really understand, is there an issue at meal times that we need to address? Now, even if your child only wants to eat rice, it's very important that alongside the rice, you continue to offer the regular foods, because kids, their taste buds keep changing. They're super strong. And if you only offer them what they want, then they'll never have that exposure to other foods. So if they only want white rice in all the meals, then we definitely have to look at it as a picky eating issue. But if your child is okay with white foods, but at least different white foods, then that's a start. So we can offer different white food in every meal. If your child only wants a certain fruit, then we need to look at, okay, what are the other fruits that look similar, that are similar shape, that we can put next to it to get them a bit exposed and open to having it. But generally, don't stop offering other foods and keep that variety going without any pressure. And also what's important is don't overwhelm them with that food. So if they only want white rice, don't give them a bowl of white rice, because what will happen is they will finish all of that and say, I'm done, I'm full. Offer a little bit at a time with the other foods next to it, because while they're waiting for more to refill, they can at least look at and maybe interact with the other foods. Another thing you can do is add small changes to the foods they like. So if they like the white rice, try adding a little bit ghee on it. Try offering some yogurt with it, or add some ground nuts to it. Make small changes so that they can get some extra nutrition from it. So when it comes to storing of meals, I want parents to know to not stress about it, because there's so many times when we make food and there's so much extra left, or our child didn't want to eat that day. So the general rule, just for safety, I would say, is that if you've made something fresh, you can store it in the fridge for 1 day and offer it the next day again. If it's something you've made and you want to offer it later, it's totally okay to freeze. And they say to freeze, you can keep it up to 3 months, but I like to just be a bit cautious and say use it within 1 month. But this whole idea of having to only serve fresh every time, I think, is very unrealistic for, the modern Indian parent today. So don't worry about that. It's okay to, store it and offer it to your kid the next day, or keep it in the freezer, where all you have to do is put it in the fridge the night before to defrost, and you can totally offer it to your child. If you're a parent that has started solids and you're feeling overwhelmed about feeding your child, I want to tell you as a nutritionist, you don't need to be. Because remember that in the first year of life, milk is the primary source of nutrition. So the way you start solids really builds a foundation for your child's relationship with food. Use this time to build the skills, have fun, let them use their senses to interact with food and learn about it. eat with them. And it doesn't need to be difficult, doesn't need to be complicated meals. You can offer foods from the family pot without salt and sugar. And for parents, it's really about not stressing about quantity. I think that's the biggest thing that causes stress for parents. So once you let go of the fact that you are in control of how much your child eats, because that is not in our control, you focus on creating the right environment, offering foods at the right time, and offering nutrient-dense, rich foods, meal times will be so much happier.